This is Orange Nation Overtime with Steve Infanti and Paulie Scibilia.
Welcome into Orange Nation Overtime, everyone, alongside Paulie Scibilia. I'm Steve Infanti. Some SU basketball news broke just as we were about to go on the air today. The Syracuse-Rutgers game now has a date associated with it. February 6th at the Barclays Center, so not during the normal non-conference part of the schedule. This will take place during the ACC slate. What do you think about it, Paulie?
I like it. It's different. It takes away one of your year bye weekends. But, yeah, do it. It's fun. It gets you into New York City again. It's against a former Big East foe. It's not a hard game. It's not, but it's good. I like it. And it does give you a chance to separate your big non-conference games. So, like last year, for instance, Syracuse had the 4 games all in a row. They had the 3 games in Vegas and then Tennessee as soon as they got back. Donnie Freeman didn't play. They struggled at the end of that Vegas trip. At least with this, like if there is an injury during November, for instance, you hope you got that guy back by February. It does give you an opportunity to score a significant non-conference win. That's probably going to be like a quad 2 type game, a chance to improve your resume later in the season as opposed to grouping all of your big games together. Right, so and we don't know the date on the St. John's game, and if it's before that, it would give you an opportunity to pull a non-conference win later than usual.
Yeah, right. I like it.
I do too.
I like it. I think it's again, it's done intentionally and it's done for a reason. We did talk some more SU basketball with Steve Lennox. He's the play-by-play man for Quinnipiac men's hoops. And we had him on to talk about Amari Monroe, who he covered for 3 years. Obviously, 2 years ago, Monroe was the MAC Conference Player of the Year, had a good season, a really solid season as a senior, and now he's going to use his 5th year of eligibility, assuming it holds up in court. He's going to use his 5th year of eligibility at Syracuse. So we brought on Steve Lennox, and we asked him, first and foremost, what kind of player Syracuse is getting in Amari Monroe.
You're getting a former MAC Player of the Year. You're getting 2 of the best players out of the MAC from last year, in Gavin Doty and Amari Monroe as well. Talking with coaches recently about Amari and what kind of what he did this summer, didn't declare for the draft, and had some scouts in attendance last year, both home and away. You're getting a freak athlete. You really are. 6'7", 230. You can look up and down rosters in college basketball, and you're like, there's a lot of guys with that. But he's just a chiseled frame, very strong, lower half, upper half. And he just grew over his 3 years at Quinnipiac, and is a guy who, Gavin had and Amari had a great supporting cast around him too, and Gavin did at Siena. And Amari learned how to trust teammates. And he can do a lot of little things for you. He doesn't have to come to Syracuse and be the leading scorer. And talking with one of the Quinnipiac coaches recently, it's like, he probably defines a role early on where maybe he's coming off the bench. But you always hear it, Stephen Paul, of, you're going to earn minutes by, what you do on the defensive end. Amari Monroe will get out after it on the defensive end. School's all-time leader in steals, can block shots. But maybe more importantly, Jerry McNamara knows him from the last 2 years. He can defend one. Maybe he doesn't do it at this level, the next level that he's at, but he can defend 1 through 4 in the MAC. Can he do it at the next level? The coaches I spoke with recently said yes, he could. He could still guard, on the defensive end in the half court. He can guard the point guard, and he's got the length with the arms and the wingspan. But he can get after it on both ends of the floor. I don't know that he's going to be able to jump passing lanes and cheat the way he has, and maybe that created bad habits on occasion where, he could anticipate a pass coming to a wing and he could jump the passing lane. I don't know that he's going to be able to do it at this level the way he did in the MAC.
Now, 2 years ago, Steve, he was named MAC Player of the Year. And I know that he had a lot of opportunities from some really big schools. I'm assuming could have made a heck of a lot more money by going elsewhere and chose to stay. Can you take us through that? What led to the decision? Was it a loyalty thing? Was it, he felt like he wasn't going to play as much if he went up a level? Why did he end up staying and kind of, turning down the money at the time?
I think you can look across the board and check almost every single box. He's got a very close relationship, and he grew up just down the road in the Poughkeepsie area. He's got a very close relationship with his mom, and And secondhand, and even from Amari and doing a podcast with him of like, you're not chasing the money. If you're happy here at Quinnipiac, don't worry about the money. And that was from his mom. That was from the people close to him and his family. But he also had a trust with the Quinnipiac coaching staff as well. From Tom McClure, the head coach, to Sean Morris, who's now at Siena as an assistant and good friends with Jerry McNamara, to Omar Shannon. He knew he was in a good place. That's where he found his love for basketball again at Quinnipiac. Because when I first met him, before his first year and in the preseason, coming from Wofford, it was a deer in the headlights. You could just tell he did not have a good experience. And over that course of the first year, we're courtside. Every once in a while you get a fist bump in the pre-game from a player as we're getting ready for our broadcast and stuff. And all of a sudden, Amari, you could just see the demeanor change in that first year where it's like the light switch went on. He knows he's in a good spot and all of those things. So, year 2 to year 3, yes, the phone, even after he announced that he was coming back, he was still getting phone calls. He was still getting messages. He was still getting emails. However they could contact him, the big schools that you allude to, they were still reaching out. But I think there was just a comfort level. It's where he had success. And, the designs were, okay, declare or go overseas after last year. Those things just didn't happen. Last year, everything did not play out the way they anticipated. There were certainly high expectations with his returning. Just didn't necessarily work out. But I think you can just check all the boxes with him across the board of great family support, all those different things. And, hearing from your family of, the money's important, of course, but it shouldn't be your end-all, be-all decision.
So his decision then to put his name in the portal, he had the foresight to put his name in the portal after last season. Did you have any conversations with Amari, or were you aware of him thinking about this even back in March and April that, hey, I'm going to put my name in the portal just in case I can get that 5th year? As we see, there's a lot of gray area right now, a lot of uncertainty about whether or not he'll actually be eligible. At the moment, it sounds like he is. Did you have any conversations with him back then about him potentially trying to get this 5th year?
Not me personally, but just hearing from the other people around the program as to what the sort of the plan was, and the people that were guiding him along the way were saying, do it. This might be the best option for a 5th year. Quinnipiac, I know, wasn't an option. They wanted, it was time to go because of you have a chance. He was their top guy. I don't know what the money was. I know he received money last year through NIL and through everything that Quinnipiac does for their student athletes at the highest level. In terms of their programs and stuff. It's hockey, it's basketball at Quinnipiac. There's no football. So he in terms of being an athlete at Quinnipiac, he was he's probably one of the top 3, 4, 5 athletes, student athletes at the school, and 3 of the others probably were hockey players. But no, I never had direct contact. It was just, Amari, conversations with him was more of like how your family doing and stuff like that. I never really checked in as to, what's next. I know once everything with the NBA was over, it didn't declare, wasn't eligible for, joining a team for summer league in Vegas and stuff like that. I believe he went out to Las Vegas at one point in time. But it was more of enter your name in the portal, see what's available perhaps over in Europe.
When you look at, you mentioned Gavin and obviously Amari, and we've seen like Tasman Goodrick is here, and Ryan Mesh, who was recruited to go play at Siena, is now here as well. What are your thoughts on these guys, veteran guys, paid their dues there, obviously had great years there. Is there any concern in your mind that they are about their ability to come here and make an impact right away at this level, making the transition?
No, based on history of the last 5 or 6 years, as this has turned differently. I come from a minor league baseball background. The MAC, the conferences like that, you sort of become, a developmental of, the next step. And the guys that have come out of the MAC and have gone to ACC and SEC schools, they've had success. And there's no doubt in my mind that Gavin and Amari, and I'm looking forward to seeing them play together on the floor. I don't have a lot of doubt that they can have success. in terms of, first year head coach, and again, I think so much weight for me is on, obviously Jerry and Gavin have a great relationship. Amari played against those two the previous 2 years. So, they know his game. It's not just watching film and saying, hey, he can fit in here. They've seen him play. They've competed against him. So, yes, I do think, for me, I absolutely, I think there could be a very high level of success. Now, success at Syracuse, this is sort of a building block, right? But I think they can come in here and have that 1 year and certainly, be successful for 26-27.
You just used the word fit there, and that's what I take away from this move is that it seems like Jerry has been very intentional with who he's added to the roster, and he's adding each guy for a very specific reason. And, to your point, like we see a lot of positional size on this roster. We see guys who aren't afraid to defend. And it sounds like that's Amari Monroe in a nutshell, right? You said he's versatile, he's got size, he's willing to defend. I'm just looking at what he did against Siena in his 2 years. Looks like 2 years ago he went for 16 and 10 in one of the games, 28 points in the other game, and then last year 21 and 7. So it seems like Jerry got to see him up close and personal, saw that he was obviously a heck of an athlete who wanted to get after it defensively, and I guess it does seem like he's a good fit for this particular roster, Steve.
It's we're all hopeful, right?
Yeah.
I've seen this young man for 3 years. I want to see him have success, absolutely this year at Syracuse. You guys, Syracuse fans want to see that success as well. But it's 1 year. We know that, from that standpoint. So it fits in of like what everyone needs. And I think he checks the ego at the door. And he comes in and has success because of the person he is, with all of the other stuff that he's going to fit in. He doesn't need to be the superstar, and I don't think he needs to have the ball in his hand, on the offensive end. He can fit in, and, one thing that one of the coaches brought up to me recently is, his three-point shooting, it's you could call it a work in progress. But if he's not, the number one guy on the scout on the offensive end, and there's dribble penetration, and you can hit him in a corner or on a wing, I think his three-point field goal percentage could be higher this year. Now that's determining of how many makes, how many takes that he ultimately does within the program. But again, this guy can put the ball on the floor and get to the basket and finish with the best of them as well. At least at this level, the last 3 years.
Steve, my last question. I realize there's some speculation here, but what is your gut feeling about whether or not he will be able to play? I mean, we see everything that's playing out in the courts right now, and the NCAA is appealing this. And there's this, so many lawsuits out there.
Yep.
What's your gut tell you about whether or not he can play this year?
In terms of just eligibility?
Yeah.
It seems like it's happening. Quinnipiac, a guy that played with Amari this past year, Tim Jones, he announced that he's returning to Quinnipiac. And Quinnipiac couldn't make the announcement, but he could make the announcement that he's returning, to the school for another year. He's getting a fifth year. It just seems like so much is down the road that it does end up happening. I'll be glass half full, the optimist. Yes, these guys are going to be eligible for the schools that they're going to be moving on to or staying with.
It'll be interesting to see, Paulie, if Amari Monroe is indeed eligible to play, what that does to the starting lineup, to the rotation. But again, that's for Jerry to figure out, and it's a good problem to have. The more talented players you have, you would prefer to have that problem than to be playing guys that don't belong on the floor.
If you didn't get them, everybody mad at you, and you have them now, they're being mad at you. So it's a no-win situation. Hopefully, it all works out.
Oh, I'm sure he'll figure out a way to make it work. But adding another talented player into the mix is got to be a good thing at this stage. Our second guest on the show today didn't have much to do with sports, although he was a kicker and a punter at the University of Buffalo back in the late 90s. But now he is a police officer. Lieutenant Dallas Pels joined us in studio as and maybe you could speak to this a little bit, Paulie. The Syracuse Police is trying to recruit in our area.
And he broke down like what you got to do and what you can get and how you do it and how old you are and
laid it all out for us. So
if you're looking for a job,
let's take a listen to Lieutenant Dallas Pels.
Police stations, agencies all over, everybody's hiring right now. There's been a need for a little bit since probably 2020-ish. Seen it go down, but we're getting that uptick right now, and it's never been easier to sign up for the exam. Civil Service has it made it available to where you can just scan a QR code, go to their website, sign up online. It's an automated system, and it's free. They've waived the charge for this test. So easiest time to ever sign up is currently happening right now.
All right, so it sounds like that is the first step, right? If you're interested in a career in being a police officer, first step is take the civil service exam. How can one prepare for the civil service exam? What can they expect?
So the nice thing is we are offering informational sessions every Monday at our new building, the Public Safety Building, 1153 West Fayette. It starts at 5 p.m. It's free. There's no commitment. Anybody's welcome. And the intention is to educate people on the job, the process, and what to expect going through. Because, it's not like signing up for a normal job. There's a process that you have to go through. So we'll inform you about everything you need to know. We'll give you a tour of the building, and we're happy to answer any questions that candidates might have.
I know we only have about a 10-minute segment here, and there's probably a lot to go through, but can you touch on maybe a few of the key bullet points in terms of the process? So exam would be step one. Once you get through that, like what can people expect for the process?
Yeah, so first thing is signing up, registering for the exam. Have to do that by September 1st. And then the exam is going to be the 17th. So in between that time, we'll do some study sessions. It's an aptitude test. It's a multiple choice. You have to pass the written portion of that, and then you also have to pass the physical portion, which is a 1.5 mile run, push-ups and sit-ups.
I'm out.
And everything's age-based, gender-based. So it's by the Cooper standards, and we'll provide that information. It's also on our website, joinsyracusepolice.com.
What is the age range you're looking for?
So anywhere from 19 to 44. You can be up to 43 in 364 days.
I missed it by 10 years.
We've both aged out, so neither one of us are eligible. How long have you been doing this? How long have you been in law enforcement?
12 years.
12 years. So over those 12 years, can you give us an idea of maybe the most challenging part of your job and maybe the most rewarding part of your job?
Challenging, that's a tough one. Obviously, every day is different. That's the beauty of the job, is going out and you don't know what to expect. It's the excitement. So that, every day is great. And I like doing that. It keeps you on your toes. Rewarding, just working with the community, being able to navigate myself throughout the department. I tell that to a lot of people that come into these informational sessions is, within 12 years, I feel like I've been able to accomplish a lot. And I really don't credit myself to that. It's the department. It's where you choose to work. And the department's great. There's room for movement. There's room for growth. And I think that's one of the best things about the department.
You said you've been doing this for 12 years. Take us back, 12, 13 years ago. Why did you get involved in law enforcement?
So I was a paramedic prior to that. I kind of worked hand in hand with, police agencies. And my brother-in-law, he was a police officer at the time. He said, "You want to do a ride along?" I go out, I do that, had a blast. Fell in love with it that night and haven't looked back since.
I hear the radio commercials all the time, listening to the radio, and there's a signing bonus also. And how do you get that?
Yes, sir.
What do you need to? How far in the process do you need to get to that?
So you would have to make it through the whole process that we talked about, be hired, and you go through the academy. After the academy, there's a field training portion of it. We call it FTO. After you successfully complete your FTO program, you would get the $5,000 from the 10. And after you complete your 18-month probationary period, you get the other $5,000.
Can you give us an idea of the time span? So from signing up before September 1st, you said the exam is on October 17th. So from October 17th to becoming a police officer, what kind of time frame are we talking there going through the academy? How long does that sort of thing take?
So the background process alone used to take 3 or 4 months just to get through that. We've sped that up exponentially. You're looking at, maybe a month and a half now. We've really tightened the screws on that. From there, you got a 6-month academy, and, we'll teach you everything that you need to know in that process. After the academy, there's probably 3 to 4 months of that FTO process, and then you're on the streets.
That doesn't sound, I could never.
So
be a police.
you're looking at 9 months probably from getting
okay. All right.
So also in the commercial here, and there's a new PSB. I may have spent a couple nights in the old one. Is there? I'm not going to lie to the guy, Steve.
I'm not sure that's something you want to admit to.
I wasn't.
Keep your eye on this guy.
I wasn't.
disclosure,
They weren't
I like
I mean, driving with a suspended license was not fun. But and they let me stay in the waiting room, Steve. They were that minimal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
They weren't worried about you?
No. I think they were worried about me. That's why they let me sit. What is the difference? It says it's state of the art. How big of a difference is there in the PSB now?
Oh, it's amazing. So everything is state of the art. Training facility, we've put a lot of money into that. We have 2 gyms in our building right now. One's a functional gym for defensive tactics, jiu-jitsu, high-intensity interval training workouts. And then we have our standard gym below that. Minus that, we have everything's been updated. We'll give our tours to everybody that can come and see it, and we're still growing while we're in there. We moved in right around March, and it's every day something new is being implemented. And I've had the luxury of traveling around the country, seeing a lot of agencies. I've yet to see a building that's as nice and efficient as this one.
All right, I have a question for you, and you might not have an answer for it. It's been driving me crazy for like 6 months. I drive through Syracuse all the time, and there's graffiti on the train bridges. How do they get up there to graffiti those things?
Man, yeah.
And how long do they stay up there? Like, it feels like it's a few-hour process.
I would imagine I've seen the art. I don't know. I'm not artistic. I don't know how long it would take to draw something like that, but
like they
it
don't
looks
get
like
caught
good
in the
work.
act yet.
Yeah, we'll get somebody on that.
Because it feels to me like you're got to be up there a pretty long time.
They've got bigger problems than graffiti.
I know. I just it's like, are they safe? Like, do they have like harnesses around their waist so they don't fall? I don't know. That's just one of the things. And then one other thing, we've been discussing ice in our drinks, and you said you don't put ice in your drink.
Not in my water bottle. No, I do not.
You just get do you get it out of the fridge or tap?
Usually a tap.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's pretty cold out of there.
I'm with him. Like, there's no need for ice. It keeps cold things
Maybe
cold
I'm
and hot
in the
things
minority
hot.
on this.
You might be. You might be.
I can't drink any drink that's cold without ice in it.
Anything else that we didn't get to that you want to make sure you get across to our listeners and viewers today?
So just really want to just hammer on the free exam. Easy to sign up for. The deadline is September 1st. And leading up to the exam, for the next 2 Mondays, we'll have those informational sessions at 5 p.m. at our public safety building, 1153 West Fayette Street. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do physical training sessions. So as we talked about earlier, not only do you have to take that written portion, but you have to pass a physical agility test. So Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m., we do workout sessions for anybody that's interested to get them in shape so that they're able to pass that. Again, everything is free. There's no commitment. Everybody's welcome to come and join those.
So there you have it. If you're looking to become a Syracuse police officer, now you know how to go about doing it. The first step is sign up for that civil service exam by September 1st. And then the exam will be held in mid-October, and off you go, Paulie.
I'm too old. You're too old.
Yes, we've been phased out. We have aged out of the process.
National Middle Child Day, Steve.
Okay.
You only have 2 in your family,
Yeah,
right?
just me and my
there's
sister.
no middle.
No.
National Vinyl Record Day. So go home and listen to some vinyl. And National Julienne Fries Day, Steve, or better known as shoestring fries.
Okay, there you go. All right, we are out of time. We appreciate you all listening and watching. For Paulie, I'm Steve. We'll do it again tomorrow. Take care, everybody.
Download the WSYR Plus app on your TV to stream News Channel 9 for free. Just go to your smart TV, search WSYR Plus in the App Store, and download to start streaming today.